About 4 years ago now, we had one of the most catastrophic moments in society. A lot of people lost their jobs due to the pandemic, and one of the things that ended up rising as a result of it was gaming. People played a lot of games. In fact, I became a Challenger League of Legends player, dedicated thousands of hours just playing that one game, to the point where I was actually making a pretty active income off of it. The idea of play to earn was like some completely foreign concept at the time, but people were already doing it. They were boosting accounts, they were selling accounts, they were doing esports, they were streaming. There was a ton of different ways to actually make revenue off of these games. But at the same time, like, we had this big issue where a big percentage of the cut was not only going to these weird little middleman parties, but also at the same time, like, there were too many regulations just taking away from the average gamer trying to make an income. And so what we ended up getting was the inception of the crypto idea that we should just let the people do what they want to do with their money and with their decisions. And so play to earn was born. It was, of course, flawed. Axie Infinity, while it grew, like, people made billions of dollars, I think it's important to keep in mind that if people made billions of dollars, others lost billions of dollars. There was that Ponzi-nomics there. It's kind of similar to what's going on with meme coins right now. Today was a very important day for meme coins. In terms of meme coins that have migrated, this is historic. I don't think there's been a time in crypto history that we've seen more crypto coins going from pump fine to radium. This is the simple migration process between a coin that, hits a certain market cap going into a full-fledged launched coin. And it's kind of pretty refreshing to see that despite the fact that meme coins have about a $50 billion market cap, they're still getting a lot of attention. Retail, for the most part, hasn't come back this cycle, which is why we haven't seen these crazy gaming runs. In the beginning of the cycle, they put their toes in just a bit. I think as a space, we've probably been running a ton on VC capital, but retail has been pretty comfortable with the idea of meme coins. You got to ask yourself, why not gaming? And the reason why not gaming is the way that a lot of these brands are doing marketing right now. Sure, some of them are starting to learn the whole Web3 thing and, making sure that you make your holders happy. A little bit of a job that's harder said than actually done. I figured, though, the true problem here is you got to ease people into it. You can't just expect people to really just go die hard into the space. So in this video, I wanted to talk about Off the Grid's incredible growth. I mean, 5 million new wallets on their testnet. Insanity going on right now. What it is actually going to mean, at least from my perspective, going to mean for the actual space? Is this going to be like the catalyst that is going to send gaming tokens 10x, as some people have suggested? Is this just going to be another one of those games that come up immensely over the course of a month and then die out the next month? That's kind of the topic that I want to discuss inside of this video. Someone that has spent I don't even know, I don't know what would you consider, an absolutely insane amount of hours playing video games over the course of my life, as well as, my background in the cryptocurrency space. So if you enjoy this kind of content, like and subscribe. It is important to disclose that, at no point is any of this financial advice. You still need to do your own due diligence, but I love being able to share my opinion with the likes of you. So thank you for taking the time, and let's get into the topic. So Off the Grid right now, 5 million wallets. It's insane how many transactions they're doing right now. I actually went to Buenos Aires, Argentina. This is where I'm at right now. This is why I'm not in my traditional setup, to specifically research this topic. Avalanche right now is throwing a summit in Buenos Aires, October 16th to October 18th. So you've got that timeline here. And right now, I'm trying to really figure out what the next step is. Is this really going to be an enormous catalyst for Avalanche, or is this just, another one of those moments where something blows up very quickly like Axie Infinity and it dies out? The answer is interesting. It's a yes and no answer in terms of, is it going to pump the ecosystem? Is Off the Grid alone, the game being a success, people playing it, Shroud, all these guys being sponsored, is it enough of a catalyst to, increase the perception of gaming, to really get it going and get all these tokens pumping? I don't think so. I don't think so at all. Like, I really don't think that even if the Guns token came out, if that was a sole catalyst for gaming, we would be nowhere near where we need to be. However, here's the cool thing about what Off the Grid is doing. They are a Web 2.5 game, essentially. In the Web 3 terms, they're a game that doesn't have a very heavy focus on cryptocurrency. They have it more as a side piece, and I think it's excellent. It's exactly how it should be to onboard people, to make people comfortable with the idea. Shroud put it beautifully. He said, why spend millions upon millions of dollars building the infrastructure for a Steam-like marketplace when you could just use technology that's already out there, the blockchain, to go ahead and do that? That's been a sentiment that I've begun to see shared among some of the bigger streamers out there. And I agree. I absolutely agree. It's the entire premise of what crypto gaming is. Why develop this technology that takes millions upon millions of dollars for the brand and for the business? And on top of that, you get to allow people to have their own fees, commissions, to allow people to have that peer-to-peer trading. I mean, people can go ahead and trade skins inside of Off the Grid. I think the idea of that is awesome. And while you can argue there are marketplaces already that exist for that, it's called the Steam Marketplace, they take a really, really, really large fee as a result of doing this transaction. It is kind of crazy how much they take. And when they take it, they give you what? Steam Wallet funds. And for the people that say, oh, I can go to a third-party marketplace, for one, the entire idea of crypto is that you won't have to do that. You can do it from the actual in-game store, which is what Off the Grid is actually facilitating right now. They have full custodial. They let you do what you want, and they'll handle everything in the back end. No need to trust anyone else, right? Except the game, right? I guess it's never perfect, right? We'll get to that point. But even if you go through these third-party marketplaces, there's a lot of grifting going on. There's a lot of non-transparency when it comes to what these people are actually doing. There's a reason that gambling in CSGO got cracked down all these years ago. It's because people were being taken advantage of. And so what is Off the Grid doing that is actually better than what the system is using right now? Well, it's very simple. Instead of trusting someone, you could actually look into the contract. Sure, most people aren't going to know how to actually look into a blockchain contract, and myself included, I'm not an expert. However, the fact that it's transparent, it's out there, people can actually look into this, and the experts, the ones that understand, can break it all down. It's all on the blockchain. People don't understand the stigma behind the, cringe and baggage heavy, like this guy, he's not being transparent at all because he's in crypto. That stigma is very much gone. And the argument that people go ahead and say, oh, but it's not economically friendly. All of the miners that I have in crypto right now either don't consume a lot of wattage or they are sustainable energy sources. I'm talking about solar, etc. Bitcoin, for the most part, is pretty damn economically sustainable, and it's also sustainable for the environment. So 2+ is right there. There's good reason El Salvador's, mining Bitcoin with their volcanoes. It just makes sense. And so we've gotten to this inflection point where I feel people are ready to absorb the technology. They get what it means, and they understand that there's a lot of AAA games out there that are really greedy. They're open to the concept. They just haven't had a game that's good enough to actually warrant having this skin system, etc. They think it's all grifting because if you sell the skins before the game even launches, I mean, what do you expect? One of the case studies for the Web 2.5 narrative is actually Dead Drop. This was Dr. Disrespect's game. Irrespective of your opinion of Dr. Disrespect, he's not in the Midnight Society team anymore. Dead Drop was a big game for Web 2 reception. The normal gamers were looking at it to see how is crypto going to affect this. There wasn't great reception because the game just really wasn't there yet. Building a studio and a game, it takes a lot of time. No shade at all to Midnight Society. You need to understand that games take a long time to develop. It takes a lot of employees. It's, runway, burn rate, all these things. And there's no success rate that will really definitively gain the trust of a user. The odds of a business succeeding in the gaming space is not very high. It just isn't very high. That's why there are so many games and so many AAA games that just don't do very well. However, that game taught us that people might be open to it if done right. Off the Grid, I'm not certain they've done it right just yet. They're still fixing the optimization issues. There are bugs in the game. It's not perfect at all. It's early access. However, when they release over the next couple of months, right? If they release and these issues are fixed and people do genuinely enjoy this game, then I think this is what's going to propel crypto gaming to the next level. There are going to be other crypto gaming projects that get inspired and actually begin to build, meaningful product. Because right now we have an issue where it is really easy to copy each other. We're creatures of habit. We like to do the same thing over and over. When we see something that is successful, we're much more likely to go ahead and copy it and try to make money off of it. It just makes sense, right? So we see node sales do well. There's a lot more node sales all of a sudden. We see a token round do well. Everybody's doing a KO round. We go ahead and see play to earn all of a sudden take off again. Oh, wow. Everybody's doing play to earn. Telegram games, all of these niches grew off of each other. And so if off the grid is successful, we don't know yet. We've seen good reception so far, but there's no guarantee. Then we'll see a lot of these Web3 native games begin to adopt this more just open and free and fair economy that I believe will catapult the crypto gaming space to a whole new level. And this whole new level isn't going to necessarily mean your token 10x's instantly. I do believe that the tokenomics, the reason that you should be buying a cryptocurrency token, needs to change in some way for a lot of these tokens. They just don't really have a purpose right now other than just pumping and then, I don't know, maybe getting listings and continuing to pump. That's, I guess, the narrative we're going for, governance, right? If we can get to that point though, which I do believe Off the Grid is beginning to do that. This is why, I went to the AVAX Summit. There are many games. Maple Story Universe is another one. I think they have got $100 million worth of funding from Nexon. There are, other games that are also coming out in the AVAX ecosystem. It's not just AVAX though. There's Arbitrum, many different ecosystems out there that are also building their own gaming projects. I believe gaming is an enormous narrative that will continue to catapult its growth. People love playing video games, and people being able to own their own skins. It's just the next level for what is supposed to be representing the cryptocurrency space. In my opinion, I think this whole crypto gaming thing, the Web3 gaming thing, it's going to go away. Crypto will become a backend technology, just like you see Polygon, from being the limelight cryptocurrency in 2021, they built Polygon CDK technology, which pretty much just puts their tech everywhere. They have their tech all over the place, but they don't really say, oh, we are the one that's catapulting the industry forward. They're just letting that backend technology build utility for their projects. So I believe the crypto space, it's moving in the right direction. Off the grid alone isn't really going to catapult us to success, but if we can get all of these catalysts, if we can prove that Off the Grid is a success, then other projects may emulate some of these success stories, bring even more consumers, normalize the narrative, and then we might get what the meme coin super cycle represents, which is the normalization and the normalization of the stigma against meme coins, just really desensitizing audiences to the idea of what meme coins may actually represent, allowing people to go ahead and do what they wish to do. Is it logical a lot of the time? I don't think so. And at some point, I do believe the next step from meme coin retail traders is into gaming. Gaming is just the ultimate retail trade ever. And so I'm hoping that Off the Grid ends up being, a big positive for our industry. I'm hoping that it's great for us. Right now, it's too early to tell. I'm not expecting some crazy pump next month as a result of Off the Grid, but I do see this being the start for venture capital funds, at least, to scope into these games that maybe aren't as Web3 native focused play to earn, but maybe are Web 2.5. Maybe they're a AAA game from Web 2 that wants to transition into Web 3. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. So I think VC Capital is hungry for those specific things right now. I don't think they're hungry for Web3 native products for play to earn, which is, in my opinion, a narrative that is going to have to shift in what it actually means. I think play to own makes sense. Play to airdrop also makes sense for the most part. When you're launching a token, you want to create loyal holders. But I do believe there is going to be this seismic shift. Everything is actually going to change for crypto gaming. This is just the next step. We had Axie Infinity, which was very much Web3 focused. We now have Off the Grid, which is a Web 2.5 product. I believe a lot of games are going to emulate this Web 2.5 mentality. Is it going to create a ton of pumpage in the crypto gaming markets? I don't think for the games directly, perhaps for the infrastructure projects within. I'm talking about, the Carrot coins or, the AVAXs, the Ronins, the IMXs of the world. If the underlying chain can get a bunch of transactions attention, then of course they're going to do very well. I'm still not sold on the actual gaming tokens themselves doing very well, only because the odds of a game succeeding is still very low, but infrastructure projects should see an enormous amount of growth in 2025 as a result of these Web 2.5 projects coming into the space, adopting the technology and doing exactly what Shroud, prominent streamer, went ahead and said when he stated that blockchain is that technology that it's already built out. Why spend all that money making your marketplace, etc., when this technology is already built out? And crypto has been building that for quite a while. I mean, we've had 4 years to go ahead and do this. So hopefully this video was educational for you. I hope this was worth your time. Until the next time, I'll see you later. Stay classy, and that's all.